Santiago Flight 513, the missing plane that landed after 35 years, with 92 skeletons on board. Santiago Flight 513, a commercial airliner that takes off in Germany in 1954 and lands in Brazil in 1989, with 92 skeletons on board, with the dead pilot still at the controls. Did the Santiago Flight 513 enter a time warp? So for the first time, it's beyond science fiction, but for some years this miraculous story has been circulating on the internet with various eye-catching headlines, such as Pan American Flight 914 took off in 1955 but landed after 37 years, or DC-4 aircraft disappears in 1955, landed after 37 years, or 1950s airliner lands with 92 skeletons, or lost plane found after 37 years, all describing nearly the same incident. Origin of the story of Lost Santiago Flight 513. Actually, this extraordinary story was first published as a breathtaking news by the weekly World News tabloid, 14th of November 1989 edition, where the report of a newspaper reporter named Erwin Fisher confirms the sketchy details about the missing Santiago Flight 513. Is it a piece of conclusive news, or is it just a sensational hoax? What actually happened to the missing Santiago Flight 513 on its way from Germany to Brazil? According to Brazilian aviation authorities, the commercial airliner named Santiago Flight 513 took off in Germany September 4th, 1954, and vanished somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean. A fruitless, massive search was conducted, and the investigators were finally forced to believe that the aircraft was crashed and all the passengers had lost their lives in this tragic event. And here's what makes the story of the missing Santiago Flight 513 even stranger. The story becomes even more fascinating when the missing flight allegedly reappears and circles the airport of Porto Alegre, Brazil, October 12, 1989, and lands with 92 skeletons on board. So who was flying it and circling around the airport and then landing? Well, you'll be surprised to learn what happened. The authorities said the control tower had no communication with the missing plane that apparently circled the airport area and then landed. After going to check the plane upon opening the doors, airport support and security were absolutely shocked to discover 92 skeletonized bodies, including of all 88 passengers and 4 crew members sitting in their seats. The stranger scene was that that of the skeletonized pilot, Captain Miguel Victor Curie, who was sitting in the intact position and was still apparently clutching the controls. They also noted that the plane was still idling. But strangely, officials had refused to comment on the reappearance of the missing Flight 513. They did not conclude where the plane had been for the intervening 35 years. Did the Santiago Flight 513 enter a time warp? Dr. Cecilo Atello, a paranormal researcher, said that the Santiago Flight 513 had almost certainly entered a time warp. There is no other explanation, but he does not seem to have any explanation as to how the skeleton of the pilot managed to land the plane safely. What was the response of the government and flight authorities to this weird claim? Santiago Airlines apparently went out of business in 1956, and their executives, who are still alive, did not know much about the flight to comment. Despite the government agencies had extensively investigated this strange event, they refused to discuss anything about the plane or about their investigation leads. They also refused to comment on Dr. Atello's words that the plane had entered a time warp. That's the only explanation. And the government has never come out with any particular interpretation. Therefore, it's strongly believed that the government officials have hushed up this case. They have cleared all the evidence that the time warp does really exist, and they don't want to scare us. However, there have been numerous such reports of pilots losing time miraculously, of people being teleported from one side to another, thousands of miles within seconds, without any rational explanation at all. Here's what we actually found about the missing Santiago Flight 513. We first searched on Wikipedia for this particular story, since there's enough information about all the lost and crashed aircraft chronologically, but we did not find there anything about the missing Santiago Flight 513 or about the disappearances of Pan American Flight 914 and DC-4 aircraft, nor have we found any other reliable source backing this sensational news story. However, if this engrossing story was not a mere hoax, which is more likely to be in this case due to lack of proper evidence except for the one and only piece of the tabloid or newspaper that is not precisely verified at all and was based on a real event or some other similar incident, then the question definitely comes to our mind: what really happened to the allegedly missing Santiago Flight 513? Is it possible to go through such time warp and again come back? In this world, there are hundreds of places where aircraft, ships, boats, or even people go missing without any traces. Many intellectuals believe that those places unpredictably create some kind of time portals called vortex. Vortex is said to be the result of the parallel universe. According to this theory, vortex opens on another world, a parallel world consisting of antimatter and that can absorb people, masses, or even light and time. To say people gone missing in this world actually reach another world within seconds. In this world, there are such many places, but especially the Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Sea Zone, and the Michigan Triangle are the ones that notoriously famous for such unexplained disappearances and unusual incidences. And to know more about vortex and the Earth's time portals, you could read another article on that. Now, the strange case of Bruce Gernon, a survivor of the deadly Bermuda Triangle. For centuries, Bermuda Triangle has earned enough infamy for missing ships, people, and aircraft without any proper explanation. Whoever had disappeared from this triangle zone has never returned again to tell the story, but there is one man named Bruce Gernon who, according to his claim, once did the impossible in the real life. Gernon is the only survivor of the Bermuda Triangle death zone to uncover its story. According to Bruce Gernon, he's experienced a time warp theory of the Bermuda Triangle and has lived to tell his story on survival. Gernon is considered to be the only person on Earth to witness what mysteries behind the Bermuda Triangle and what the triangle creates to make things disappear. Many others have also seen parts of this phenomenon of mystery and disappearance, but Gernon has seen it completely. He witnesses this form from its birth stage through its mature stage and enters the heart of the time storm and escapes through a tunnel of vortex and experiences a time warp. Bruce Gernon claims that on December 4th, 1970, he flew a beach bonanza from Andros Airport in the Bahamas to Palm Beach, Florida, 250 miles in only 47 minutes. It requires a speed of 500 kilometers per hour consistently. For his small private plane, it was impossible. Gernon and his daughter McGregor were on the flight. He saw a thick, extensive layer of extremely white fog that was coming to them. At that time, his plane's connection with the control center went lost, as well as the compass and other aircraft devices were not working at all. These happened all at once, he says. In this situation, he daringly decided to accelerate the plane to the pile of fog to get through it. As they entered the cluster, the air became denser, and within a short time the plane was completely enveloped by the cloud and visibility was reduced to 7 or 8 kilometers. There was no lightning or rain, but there were white flashes that illuminated the sky, and although Gernon rose to approximately 3,000 meters, that's 9,000 feet or so, of altitude, he could not get out of the cluster. After a few seconds, Gernon realized that the plane was trapped in the middle of a deadly cloud cluster. He was even unable to know if the plane was heading to Earth or the moon. Right then, he saw a huge tunnel, at least 50 kilometers in diameter, through the strange thick clouds. The visibility into the tunnel was so clear that he could see miles away through it. In this do-or-die situation, Gernon took the risk and entered into the tunnel. Approaching the opening, he realized that it was a perfectly horizontal tunnel, just over a kilometer long, and that he could see the blue sky on the other side. Bruce decided to head towards the sky, while remaining surprised by the strange density of the air and the cottony appearance of these clouds. He began to accelerate towards the exit. After exiting the strange fog, he noticed that 30 minutes had passed and he traveled 100 miles in just a short time in the vortex. It is only after 31 years of his complete research on the triangle did Bruce Gernon discover how he had flown those 100 miles in such a short time and never seen the earth or sky around him. He further claims that it's because of something called electronic fog. It's said that Bruce was captured by this electronic fog, in which there had been dozens of planes and boats too, which went missing in this fog throughout history. Gernon believes that a rare natural phenomenon may be behind paranormal happenings in the Bermuda Triangle. Ufologists and ancient astronaut theorists assert that the Bruce Gernon story of electronic fog also explores the Bermuda Triangle connection to UFOs, a secret Navy base, and a possible link to vanished ancient civilizations. The Bermuda Triangle has claimed over 1,000 people during the 20th century itself, but Bruce Gernon has left alive so that he can tell us the real mysteries behind the Bermuda Triangle. Amazing, isn't it? Electronic fog, he says what it is. This is by Inhale Ancient Mysteries on Collective Spark. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.